We've covered data privacy, legal considerations, and regulatory requirements. Now we turn to something that goes beyond what the law requires: ethics. Why does ethics matter if you're already complying with the law? Because the law sets a floor, not a ceiling. Legal compliance tells you what you must do. Ethics helps you think about what you should do, even when the law is silent or hasn't caught up with technology. And let's be practical. Ethical failures often become legal and reputational problems. The Amazon recruiting AI we discussed earlier failed ethically. It discriminated before any regulator intervened. The reputational damage was real. Building ethical thinking into your AI practices isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about protecting your organization. In this lecture, I'll introduce you to the key ethical principles that have emerged around AI and give you a practical framework for applying them in your organization. Over the past several years, numerous organizations, governments, industry bodies, academic institutions, and companies have published AI ethics guidelines. While the specific language varies, a common set of principles has emerged. Let me walk you through the most important ones. Fairness and non-discrimination. AI systems should not create or reinforce unfair bias. This sounds simple, but is technically and philosophically complex. What counts as fair? Fair compared to what baseline? Fair to whom? In practice, this principle requires you to consider: what data is the AI trained on? Does that data reflect historical biases? Who might be affected by the AI's decisions? Are there groups that might be systematically disadvantaged? How will you detect bias, and what will you do if you find it? The Amazon recruiting case is instructive. The AI learned from historical hiring data, which reflected past biases. The system wasn't programmed to discriminate. It learned to discriminate from patterns in the data. Fairness requires scrutinizing not just the AI itself, but the data it learns from and the processes surrounding it. Transparency and explainability. People affected by AI decisions should be able to understand how those decisions were made. This includes both knowing that AI was involved and having some insight into the reasoning. For some AI systems, full explainability is technically challenging. Large language models, for instance, don't reason in ways humans can easily trace. But the principle still applies. Even if you can't explain exactly how the AI arrives at an output, you can be transparent about the fact that AI was used, what its limitations are, and what human oversight is involved. Transparency also applies internally. Leaders and decision makers should understand enough about how AI systems work to provide meaningful oversight. Black boxes that no one understands are governance failures waiting to happen. Accountability. Someone must be responsible for AI systems and their outcomes. This means clear ownership. Who decides to deploy an AI system? Who monitors its performance? Who is accountable when something goes wrong? Remember again Air Canada's failed argument that their chatbot was a separate legal entity. The tribunal was right to reject it. Accountability can't be delegated to software. Humans deploy AI systems, and humans must be accountable for them. This has practical implications for organizational structure. You need defined roles and responsibilities for AI governance. Someone, a person, not an algorithm, must be able to answer for AI decisions. Human oversight and control. Humans should remain in control of AI systems, particularly for high-stakes decisions. This doesn't mean humans must approve every AI output. That would negate much of AI's value. But it does mean appropriate checkpoints, the ability to override or correct AI decisions, and human judgment for decisions with significant consequences. The level of human oversight should be proportionate to the stakes. A spelling correction needs no human oversight. A hiring decision needs significant human involvement. The principle is scalable, not absolute. Privacy and data protection. AI systems should respect privacy rights and handle personal data appropriately. We covered the practical dimensions of this in Lecture 4.1. The ethical dimension adds a layer. Beyond legal compliance, are you handling people's data in ways they would find reasonable? Are you minimizing data collection to what's genuinely necessary? Are you being transparent about data use? Safety and security. AI systems should be safe, secure, and robust. They shouldn't cause harm through malfunction, misuse, or attack. This includes testing for edge cases, building in safeguards, and planning for what happens when things go wrong. Beneficial purpose. AI should be developed and used for beneficial purposes. This sounds obvious, but it's worth pausing on. Not everything that's technically possible is worth doing. Not every efficiency gain is worth pursuing if it comes at significant cost to other values. The ethical question isn't just, can we do this? But should we? 7 principles can feel abstract. Let me give you a simpler framework that captures the essence, the acronym FATE: fairness, accountability, transparency, and ethics. Fairness. Is this AI system fair to everyone it affects? Have we checked for bias? Would we be comfortable if our decisions were scrutinized? Accountability. Who is responsible? Can someone answer for this system's decisions? Is there clear ownership? Transparency. Can we explain what the system does? Do affected parties know AI is involved? Do our leaders understand it well enough to govern it? Ethics. Beyond legal compliance, is this the right thing to do? Would we be proud to have this reported in the press? Does it align with our values? When you're evaluating an AI initiative, run it through the FATE framework. If you can't give confident answers to these questions, you have more work to do before deployment. Principles are important, but they need to be operationalized. Turn into practices that are embedded in how your organization actually works. Here's how to do that. First, create an ethical review process. Before deploying significant AI systems, require a structured ethical review. This doesn't need to be bureaucratic. A simple checklist based on the FATE framework can work. The goal is to ensure someone has thought through the ethical implications before deployment, not after problems emerge. Second, involve diverse perspectives. Ethical blind spots often come from homogeneous teams. If everyone involved in an AI decision looks the same, thinks the same, and has the same background, important perspectives will be missed. Actively seek input from people who might be affected by the AI system, including those who might be disadvantaged. Third, build feedback mechanisms. Create channels for people to report concerns about AI systems, both internal users and external affected parties. Make it safe to raise issues. Act on what you learn. Fourth, conduct regular audits. Don't assume that because an AI system was ethical at deployment, it remains so. Data changes. Circumstances change. Models drift. Regular audits, checking for bias, reviewing outcomes, assessing ongoing appropriateness should be part of your AI governance. Fifth, lead from the top. Ethics can't be delegated to a compliance function. Leaders need to demonstrate commitment to responsible AI through their decisions, their questions, and their willingness to slow down or stop when ethical concerns arise. Let me close with a thought that frames all of this. AI amplifies. It amplifies capability, productivity, reach, but it also amplifies consequences, including the consequences of ethical failures. A biased human decision affects one person. A biased AI system can affect thousands or millions. This amplification is precisely why ethical thinking needs to be embedded in AI from the start. In the design, in the deployment decisions, in the ongoing governance. It's not an afterthought or nice to have. It's fundamental to sustainable, successful AI adoption. In our final lecture in this module, we'll bring everything together: data privacy, legal considerations, regulatory requirements, and ethical principles, all synthesized into practical guidance for building internal AI policies and governance.